Hey friends, it's Danielle with Schoolhouse Rud, and today we are going to go through our preparations to make sure we are ready for whatever monstrosity of a winter storm is coming our way. So if you are in the great volunteer state of Tennessee, or watching from northern Georgia or northern Alabama, or anywhere in the South really that they've been threatening for days, we're about to get slammed with some apocalyptic snowstorm bigger than the 1993 blizzard and bigger than the great ice event of 1960. I don't know, I have no frame of reference, but we're going to go through all of our preparations and make sure we are prepared for days without power or water or the usual things that I have preached time and time again on this channel to prepare for, except it was for hurricanes. So now we're going to take those same preps and we're just going to tweak it a little bit and modify so we are prepared for cold weather when we have no power, water, and otherwise. So grab your favorite caffeine and come along with me, the self-proclaimed emergency preparedness queen. We're just over 48 hours out from this event, so stick around, come with me as I prepare, because as one of my favorite meteorologists, Margaret Orr in Louisiana, always said, it's about to get crunk. Okay, y'all, I swear there's nothing but caffeine in here. I'm just excited to prep because this is one of my favorite things. I'm an organizational freak, and I'm a little bit of a, control freak. So I like to be prepared for situations. So prepare for the worst, hope for the best, right? We are prepared around here. So I have shown this room time and time again on this channel. This is our tornado shelter. No, we are not expecting any severe weather to have the need to hunker down in this room, but this is where our emergency supplies are located. So that's why I am in the tornado room. Now, a quick thing is I'm going through this to make sure I'm stocked on batteries, just checking some of the things that we've used up over the past year. I usually go through this room at the beginning of spring to restock and to switch out some of the candy items, just with like Easter candy or Halloween candy. So it's a little bit early in the year for me to be doing this. So that's why I just need to make sure we're good and ready to go. My idea is to prepare to where I don't need to leave the house for a week. When I started this channel, there is a video. If you've never prepped before, I will link it down below. There's a video about how to do this with stuff you already have on hand at home and to make a 24-hour kit. So we started with a 24-hour kit with just what we had on hand. When I would go out grocery shopping, I would pick up a thing or two, put it in here, and just slowly started to build up. Now this kit is good for 72 hours, so I'm really proud of that, and I'm really feeling good about it. But if there is some significant ice or extended power outage, we don't really want to be going out. And so we've got enough non-perishable items that we can stay for a week. But I just want to make sure I'm stocked up on things like batteries and heat sources. And I'll get into that a little bit when I go through our big kit. One thing is I do have a video on these bags coming out. It's just in the editing process. So everybody in our family, people, have a bag like this. It's just a clear bag, and there's like personal care items in here. There was some candy in here from Halloween. Gee, I wonder where this person's candy is. Oh, there it is. And I go through all of the things that I have in here. Now, because I packed them, I know that every person has winter clothing in here. So what we have is a situation where you just grab and go, and no matter what the season is, you have a change of clothes for whatever is going on outside. So I know these are good to go. I do not need to go through them. That's one of the perks of having pre-planned and done all of this emergency preparedness already. If you are starting from scratch, the goal is to pretend like you cannot leave for 24 hours. And every time you go to reach for something, analyze. Does that need electricity? Does that need running water? What does that need? My phone. Right now I'm using it to record, but I know that I'm going to need to have some kind of access to charge it. Or if it's completely dead, what are we going to use for communication purposes? So I've opened up our kit here, and the first thing that I notice is a bunch of chargers. So this room has power to it, but we also have a motion sensor light for in case there was severe weather. It's probably dead. Here's the charger for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a pile of things that need to be charged right away, because I don't want to be scrambling to do this when the weather comes. Now, I've got an extra battery bank. I've got a cell phone charger. All of our chargers are in here. So that's something that I'm going to put aside and assign my husband to do. Another thing you can do is assign people roles if you don't want to have to do it yourself, and give people tasks to do so that they can help you. And then obviously, you know, remember to get the items back once they're charged. I've seen a lot of complaints about people having medical equipment that needs electricity, and that's huge. We also fall under that category. So we have a backup bank. This is a long power bank. So I'm going to make sure that this is fully ready and good to go in case we have to use those medical devices that require power. And let's say we don't have power. This is an excellent backup option. So you're going to want to have some sort of way to charge or to give power to things that you need to sustain life. That is top priority. Next, let's talk about if you lose power, okay? If you lose power, not a huge deal as long as you're not on life-sustaining equipment, right? Pretty inconvenient. So what I have here is I have this box of power and lights, and let's go through what's in it. These are headlamps from Dollar Tree, and I know these require batteries. I have batteries, but I am going to go through that in just a second. This is a quick flame. This is fuel. You can heat up a can, a canned good or whatever with these. You can heat up something just rather small if you're looking for a small meal. I think I am going to grab a few more of these when we go out today because that's just one. All of these excellent lights, they all run off of battery power, and we're going to make sure we have enough batteries for it being cold outside. We've got these hand and foot warmers. I've just stocked these up over the years and just have them all in a bag. These are excellent. We do have battery powered emergency candles, so these are LED, but I also have the real deal. Okay, these are 4-hour emergency candles, and there are 6 of them. Obviously, you're not going to be burning them continuously, but that is 24 hours of emergency light. I have seen where you can take some Crisco and you can like melt it and put it in a mason jar. If you're going to do that, please line the bottom of the mason jar with some sort of sand or just something that barriers the glass from the Crisco, because what happens is that's a wonderful like 72-hour or something type of emergency candle, and it's great. But what happens is when you burn through all that Crisco and that's oil and you get down to the bottom, you have the chance of the glass from the mason jar shattering and causing a house fire, and that's not something anybody wants to go through or experience. So if you are going to go through that method, which I might, if I do, I'll document it, but I haven't really committed to that yet. But if you're going to go that method with the giant emergency DIY, make your own emergency candle, make sure that you are doing so safely. So we've got these, and then I have glow sticks. Not only are they cool, but they can provide a really bright light. I don't know, boost morale. I just have so much in here because I'm just used to this from living my life in Southeast Louisiana. Happy Mardi Gras, y'all. So that is our light and warmth container. I also have electronic hand warmers. Those are good. I'm going to make sure they are charged because they are chargeable by USB. And then you're going to want to make sure that you have nearby your hats, your gloves, your coats. Just know where all of those items are in case you are without power for a prolonged period of time and the temperatures outside are below freezing. You're going to want to insulate and keep yourself warm. Here's what we talked about earlier about having all of your gloves and hats and everything where you know they are. Here are those electric hand warmers we talked about, so I'm going to get those out so that we can charge those. But yeah, everybody has their stuff in order. Batteries, here we go. This is the main reason why I got this kit out. Okay, let's investigate. I am either missing one or it fell beyond the cracks. So we've got AAAs. This one is really full, so I'm very happy with that. 9 volt, empty. Guess what I'm getting when we go out today? This is good to have on hand. Not only are your smoke detectors going to run off of these, but please, for the love of all that is purple, do not run a generator or a propane heater or any of that kind of stuff without having a carbon monoxide detector somewhere in your home. It is really, really sad that I have to say this, but I need to educate some people because sometimes we just don't know. You want to have ventilation for those things. Those things pump out carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide is a silent killer. So you need to have some sort of detector. I have one, it's just not in here, but I will show you that. But it runs off of 9 volts, and this is empty. So this is an excellent thing that I'm doing, going through all of my preps to see what I need. 9-volt batteries on the shopping list for sure. And then the rest of this stuff is like in case we were trapped in here during severe weather or a tornado event and we could not leave this room. So I have food, things like that. I'm not going to take that all out because I go through that in the spring just to make sure that we have what we need. And I just, like I said, if we're going to be trapped in our home for a week, we have food upstairs and we have food in the pantry down here. So that's not something I'm really super interested in bringing out. Then I found the double A's, haha, and they are pretty well stocked. So when I go today, I think I'm just gonna grab like, I don't know, maybe one thing of double A's because the triple A's, like they're smaller and they take up more room. So this container is full, but there's way more triple A's in here than there are doubles. I think I'm going to go through all of these lights in this container right here and with these and just see what kind they take. These are double A's, 4 double A's for 1 light. Yeah, so we are going to pick up some more double A's just so we don't like run through our entire stash the first day. Double A's and 9 volts. And then this is important. How are you going to light your fires if you don't have a match? And lighters. So some ignition in here. And the rest of the stuff is, I have entertainment for my kiddo. I've got, this is good, an extra trash bag, a black one and a white one. I've got like those floor tarp thingies, a drop cloth. This is good to seal off your home. So I have a home that is over 30 years old. The back door is kind of like jankety, where a draft comes in. So either you can tape it off and seal it off so that you're not having a draft come in, or you can take an older towel and like shove it underneath there so that you can keep that cold draft out, so that when your power is out, you can keep your space heated and just kind of hold in that natural heat. Because what's going to happen is your heat is going to leave quickly in any open space that it can, and that cold is going to come right on in. I think that is all in the kit that is relevant for this situation. So I'm going to go put everything back. I know that I need AA batteries and 9-volt batteries, and I'll be right back to talk about our power and water survival for days. Score 1 point for the junk drawer. Found my 9 volts. So now we're in the garage, okay? We are going to talk about preparedness that you can do in this area of your home. Extra gas cans, fill them up. Vehicle, fill it up. No, you're not going anywhere, but in case you need to, you have gas. And also, if you run out of gas in these containers, you can use your car to charge things like we talked about earlier. So consider getting an adapter for your car. We already have one, but let's say you need some sort of medical thing to plug in, or, you know, you need to charge your laptop, work, whatever. You can do that in your car. Please open your garage door, and don't do that in a fully closed garage when you start your car. I know that that seems like common sense, but again, some people just don't have the experience. They've never been in that situation before. Remember, we talked about carbon monoxide. This is a carbon monoxide detector. Okay, it's not on right now because it is a plug-in, and it uses a battery backup. So you saw that I found my 9-volt batteries upstairs. I'm very excited about that because now I don't have to buy that. The point of this is to just get prepared. We don't want to go out and panic buy and spend all of our money. We want to be prepared for having things on hand. We want to have that in our home already so that when everybody else is out shopping and panic buying and fighting over stuff, we don't have to be a part of that chaos. All right, I've lived it in hurricane season. It's not fun. So carbon monoxide detector, check. Gas, check. The generator, I will show you, is right here. So today we're going to focus on getting this bad boy out, dust it off, make sure the oil and gas are good and it starts up, because that is going to be our lifeline for our fridge and our heat if we go without power for days. The other thing in the kit that I have, because I'm a germaphobe, let's be real, but also, like, let's be clean and hygienic, right? So sanitizer for when you don't have running water, soap for when you can get a water source, and I'm going to cover water in just a second. Having a reserve of clean drinking water is an absolute must. And if you have some sort of ice maker, start making ice now and put it in bowls or bags and freeze it. Of course, you could always use prepackaged ice. And then we have a Brita filter in our fridge that I could also use for drinking water. So let's talk about water for a second. You're going to want to reserve your water before. You're not going to want to wait until you don't have any. So what you're going to do is, before the storm hits, get everybody showered, all your bathroom needs taken care of, and then you're going to fill up your bathtubs as much as you can. The water doesn't even have to be warm, just fill it up with cool water. And what that's going to do is that's going to act like a water reserve for you. This water is okay to cook with as long as your bathtub's clean. So please make sure your bathtub's clean before you do this. This water is going to be okay to use for boiling and cooking, but also you don't even have to have the straw system that I have. This water could be good for drinking with that straw system. But think about this. The Brita that I showed in my fridge filters tap water. So let's say our Brita was, low and we didn't have water to refill it. If you wanted just some clean drinking water, again, your tub is clean, so you can scoop some of that out with a cup and then put it in the Brita, and the Brita will filter it so you have clean drinking water. Again, you could use your Life Straw system. You could boil the water. There's so many different ways that you can use reserved water, but that's a free reserve right there. Instead of having to go out and buying a 5-gallon container for water, fill up every bathtub in your home, every clean bathtub in your home, and there you go. You've got free water reserves for whatever purpose you need the water for. And then you can, always have someone pour it over your hands if you wanted to wash your hands with, regular soap. There's just so many good uses for having fresh, clean water at your disposal. Now, obviously, the longer it sits there, you're going to want to treat it a little bit. That's why we have those bleach tablets. But think about it. The water comes from the tap and it's in your clean home. So you can kind of control what it's exposed to, as opposed to, power's out and you don't know if the water got treated from the plant before it's running through your tap. So that's just one way to have good reserves of water. You never know how much water you're going to need until you don't have any. And the Red Cross recommends a gallon of water per person per day, including pets. So there are 5 in my home. So for 72 hours when we built this kit, I made sure that we had 15 gallons of water. That's what I showed you in the picture before. But we also have access to other water, so we don't have to break into our emergency water if we don't have to, but it's there if we need it. That's the point of this, guys. Next, let's see. These are just personal care items. And again, we're staying in our home, so we don't really, we're free to go wherever we want. We're not trapped in this room. So this box is not really relevant for this, so I'm not going to go through that. Same with this, although we do have a can opener here, and I do have an extra little water straw thingy. Each one of these backpacks does have their own water straw thingy, and again, you can see that when I post it on the channel. I'll go through in depth what's on those, but just have these on hand. I've got like an extra soap, some sanitizing wipes, so this might be helpful if we are without running water. This would be a good kit to stock. So think about the things that you would need if you did not have running water, and you were going to go to eat something. Like, what sorts of items would you need? So that's one of our little go kits I put together. This next one is just kind of like a utility one. So I've got bleach tabs in there in case we need to purify water. I've got stakes, I've got rope, I've got tools like tape, a carabiner, a tape measure, screwdrivers, just like things that you would need for like small kinds of jobs. And let's say your power's out, let's say you're freezing. You don't want to go in the garage to go find your tools because the garage is going to be even colder than your insulated house. Zip ties, gloves, things like that. So consider a utility kit for a situation like this. I have a giant 24 pack of bottled water in here. I'm not going to lift it because it's so heavy. You'll just have to trust me that it's there. And then I have talked before about how to keep yourself cool in situations like these because my kit was for hurricanes. So we've got battery powered individualized fans. Let's flip the script on that and let's talk about how to keep ourselves warm. So that's where you'll do those hand warmers. That's where you'll put on your beanies, your coats, and things like that. So personalized items that are yours, keep those nearby, keep them all together. When I taught kindergarten and there were hats and mittens everywhere and nobody could keep track of their stuff, what we did was we took a beanie hat, we put our gloves inside of the beanie hat, scarf if we had one, took the beanie hat, put it in the hood of the coat, or if there was no hood, stuffed it in the pocket, and there you go. All of your items are contained in your coat and you know where they are and can grab and go quickly. This saved me during an evacuation in sub-zero temperatures because I told the kids, grab your coats, let's go. And they grabbed their coats, threw them on, and we were out the door. So just keep that in mind. It's about being quick and efficient sometimes. Make sure you have plenty of firewood and identify a safe place to burn a fire. Then go around collecting your garden hoses, and we're going to cover our hose bibs, pipes, and septic tank entry points. That would be terrible if it froze. Remember your outdoor security systems. They're not going to function as well in freezing temperatures, so just keep that in mind, nor will they function without power. Make sure you are stocked with non-perishable full meals and protein. And then here's what I mentioned earlier about covering up drafty areas so you can insulate your home better. Now, unlike tornadoes where you want to be in the basement, you don't want to be in the basement. You want to be on the highest level of your home. Remember, y'all, heat rises, so identify one room in the upper portion of your home or interior, and that's where you are going to sleep and hang out most of your time during this event. Bring in mattresses, air mattresses, make a pillow fort, just have fun with it. You're going to be there for a little while. Here is what I ended up grabbing while out today, those AA batteries. I only got one quick fling because they raised the price to $2, and those division flashcards are for entertainment and learning. And then one of my personal goals for January was to stock up on soups, tuna, and protein for our food storage, and I managed to hit that goal as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have taken inspiration from this and are going to get your own emergency kit ready. And if you do not already follow Engle Weather Service, may I take this opportunity to remind you that you are surely missing out. We have no hype, no fear-mongering, just the weather accurately as we see it. So thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to check out the description box for those other videos I mentioned. Bye!